Patricia Songyu continues to suffer deeply from hate crime. She was targeted by a couple while she was waiting for a bus in South Bristol, simply because she's black. First, they racially abused her, and then she was physically attacked.
I bent my head down like this, and they were hitting me everywhere on my neck, my back, kicking me. Then, about 5 to 6 minutes, they were doing this, and when they finished, but I was praying in my heart. After that, they just left me. I said, thanks be to God. And I asked them, what have I done to you? And then I started running. That time even, I was dizzy.
Patricia was supported by SARI, Support Against Racist Incidents. They sent a taxi to take her son to school when she was too afraid to leave her home. Since then, she suffered from back and neck pain and has lost her job. The man responsible for prosecuting criminals throughout the West says hate crime is totally unacceptable.
We have cases where victims of consistent persecution, and I use that word advisedly, consistent persecution by often thugs, find themselves unable to leave their homes because of the fear that they will be picked on because of the colour of their skin or because they speak in a way which some people might find a little strange, and they're mocked for it. That is unacceptable in a modern liberal democracy.
The CPS in the Southwest has a better record on prosecuting hate crime than the rest of the country. Here, 83% of 678 cases involving race or religion were successfully convicted. 93% of 64 homophobic cases and 83% of 47 disability cases also ended in convictions. Barclay Wild from Somerset was bullied at work because of his sexuality.
When I was in a staff room one time and we were sharing just a bottle of water, just taking sips out of it, and a colleague looked at me and said, "Oh, well, you can't do that." It was just this assumption that A, I was gay, B, I'd have HIV, and C, I could transmit it by sipping out of a bottle. I mean, just kind of very subtle and insidious kind of bullying and homophobia, basically.
Meanwhile, Barry Hughes says a major problem is to get victims of hate crime to come forward and report what's happened.
Sometimes people who are victims of racist crime find it particularly difficult to come to court because they are in such a minority that they feel that they won't be afforded the same support that the majority of the population will have.
The Crown Prosecution Service knows that its targeting of offenders will result in an increase in prosecutions. But this does not mean that hate crime itself is on the increase, rather that a damaging and corrosive crime is at last being brought to justice. Steve Brodie, BBC Points West, Bristol.